That'd be great. There you go. All right, Chelsea, take us away.
Yeah, well, this is definitely an interesting chapter to kind of dive into simply because I've only usually gotten this type of training from women. And so seeing it from a man's perspective and a man's, because usually things are a little bit more flowery, you want to put it that way. But this is excellent in one way because I was thinking, you know what, this could be helpful into recruiting some men and to maybe having a better we're in chapter 6. Yeah, so I thought this is very interesting because I've always been kind of like trying to have my ear to the ground, like how would I recruit a man? How would I talk to a man? Like I don't know how to talk to men about doing network marketing. I just don't. So this was very eye-opening for me. And this is from someone who's obviously very wildly successful, not just like someone who's like, oh, this is what I say, but like they're not very high up, you know? So this is something that he teaches to his people. Now, obviously, we would tweak things a bit, right? But that was very fascinating for me. Now, when I go to see my notes, can you still see my face? Oh, great. Okay. Because I'm using my phone for everything. So I loved what this whole chapter is about positioning yourself as a leader. And I remember even when reading a John Maxwell book, I think it's like The Power of Five or something. One of the things that this reminded me of was in that book, it says like if you want to be a leader, you need to show up like the leader. And you want to be doing the things that you want your people to be doing. And it's like, oh yeah, like obviously that makes sense. But the brainwave had not yet hit the brain. And so, yeah, you want to know what you're doing and where you're going. And the one thing I love that he said is when he's telling people about this new opportunity, he's saying, this is something I'm going to run with 100%, which I think is really important because sometimes when someone's starting something new, you're always in the back of your mind, you're like, are they going to stick with this or are they going to peter out? So then you just give it a little bit of time before you really take them seriously. Right? But if you already lay the groundwork saying, I mean, we've been here for a few years, so people can see right now that we are obviously running with this 100%. But for somebody new, nobody knows that about them. They don't know that they're going to stay, and we don't even know if they're going to stay. But if they have the mindset, even when they're starting, that they're going to run with this 100%, and that they don't see it as, oh, like I'll see how it goes, and then maybe I'll just duck out the back door if things don't work or something. You know what I mean? So Janelle, you look like you have thoughts.
No, I have tons of thoughts on this chapter, but I don't want to get too far ahead of where we're at. The one thing that I want to offer that is a slightly differing opinion from his position, because remember we come from different companies,
Right.
is that Plexus wants to talk to leaders. They want to bring out the leader in you.
I noticed that as well. I was like,
and I can and I like reading industry books because it actually it affirms my choice.
Yeah.
Because and I just want to give a little bit of perspective for those people who maybe don't know Body, or what were they before? Beachbody. I get them confused with Body by Vi because Body, that was a long time ago, by Salas. I remember someone coming to Plexus who was on our team, and they did Beachbody, and they could not believe that we wanted to share our content, that we wanted to be like, you can have my stuff. They were told, whether it was in their downline, like their team, or this was company wide, I kind of think it was company wide, they had to create all of their own stuff. They were very much like an island unto themselves. And so looking at it through that lens,
Wow.
yeah, we need to position ourselves as leaders. We absolutely do. You want to be the expert, but you want to hold that in the right tension. You want to be the expert, but you want them to think that they don't have to be experts, right? So how do you position
Right.
yourself as an expert or a leader, but not make somebody else feel like you have to be an expert in order to be a leader? You can just come and learn as you go. So when you consider that he's coming from a place where you were an island, right? Plexus
Yeah.
doesn't want islands. They want community. And this is why people come here and they love it, is because we're leading each other, and we love our company, and corporates focus, like how many people went to Gold School? Like, you want to tell me that they're not focused on
Yep.
leaders? That they don't like, their first plan isn't leadership? Of course it is. And they do that by leading in their own communities. You look at, they just donated what, $10,000 to the Maui Food Bank. They were packing backpacks during Emerald Extravaganza. They like just all of the pieces, right? Like,
Yep.
there are oh, Janelle said she did Beachbody, it was company wide. Yeah. So like, can you imagine not being able to utilize other people's stories? Like, we rise by lifting others. This is not cutthroat. This is not. Anyway, I just wanted to make sure that we were starting on the foundation of, yes, we can always glean from other people, and Keith is brilliant, but he's starting in a completely different place than we are.
Right. And I guess the way that I see it is, um, even though people don't have to be an island, there is a difference when someone comes to you and they get the message right away that you mean business, and they have a level of respect for you because they can see that you are committed to the long term, and they know they can trust you for the long term. Your hand is up.
Yeah, I want to add a word to what you said, because what you said is great. Um, I think it starts with value. When other people can see that you value yourself and what
Yeah,
you have to offer, it's a
exactly.
huge thing. We were having a conversation in the Emeralds, the Road to Emeralds chat with all the ladies who have committed to Emerald. And Leo, and I wish she was here, because she shared that she had done an interview with a guy who was doing, what was it, you guys? Like, it was like personal training and like all those things. Chelsea, I don't know if did you get a chance to listen to that voice message? Um,
No, I didn't.
she was talking about yesterday how she'd had this like intake call. Yeah, it was coaching in all areas. It was like gut health, wellness, nutrition, fitness, like all these things. And the guy, after like she'd gone through this whole interview thing, had said it's going to be $1,200 for 12 weeks of coaching. And it was just the coaching and like the workout programs. We're not talking food, we're not talking supplements, we're not talking anything. And Leona was like, that's $100 a week. Like, are crazy. But he was positioning it as like, absolutely, like this is that his ask was totally acceptable at $100 a week, because he felt, I mean, I'm sure it is, his value was that high, right? To be able to ask that for. And so do we believe that the value that we give
Yeah.
is worth that? And it's exactly what you're saying, Chelsea.
I remember showing up, like, just feeling so insecure about the price of things, so insecure about what people would say about the price of things. And I led with that. Ooh, yikes. I led with, okay, I want to make sure I get you the cheapest, whatever, and I don't do that anymore. yeah, I'm still trying to get them a good deal, but I don't lead with that. The thing is, and again, like when you show the value, then people are like, okay. Like there's people out there who are charging a ridiculous amount of money for their courses and people are buying them. It's not that people don't have money, it's not that people don't even want to like pay for something that is that expensive even though it has value. They want they will put their money where they feel like it has worth, and if you show them that worth, if you show them that value, then then they will then they will cash in on it. I mean, that's just, we can know that because we ourselves, you look at how much we spend on our supplements now each month. Like there's no way that at the very beginning I didn't understand the value of all the different everything, whatever. And so I thought of when I'd see people having like their unicorn drink every morning, I was just like, it's so expensive. Like I just didn't have the value in my mind. But if you show up like this is normal, there's more people who are like, oh yeah, this is normal. It's fine. Um, yeah.
I just want
Yeah.
two things on there. On the coaching portion, the coaching and the pivotal option that we have, the value that's already built
Oh yeah.
into those things that we are personally not utilizing, it's harder for us to express the value of them because we are not valuing and using those.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
Krisha, she's here and I can pick on her. She uses that. She talks about using that. She builds the value in.
Mm-hmm.
I don't, which bad on me. I need to be building that value in when I do. I need to be using it. I need to be talking about using it. I need to build that value in. And coaching kind of is one of those pieces and supplements that, for the most part, like you said, Chelsea, you didn't know the value until you actually got there. So then once you actually got there, you could talk about it. And coaching is the same way. Until you spend $1,200 for 12 weeks, you won't be able to say, I've got the value for $1,200 for 12 weeks. I can give it to you. Let's run.
Right.
You can't even say it's $1,200 worth of value and I'm going to give it to you cheaper for $200 because you haven't actually paid that big money. You haven't actually used the supplements to do that. But that's also growing in our leadership, which is why we're taking this book, because we're moving that way. And you started out by saying, I take this seriously. Are you ready to take this seriously? Are you in 100%? And that clicked in my brain, God's little download saying, that's a vision casting piece. Even in our stories, are we saying, hey, I'm still here. I've been here a long time. I'm staying here a long time. I'm loving it. Are you coming?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And that kind of that makes me think of a little bit later in the chapter where he talks about your enthusiasm, your excitement, your passion. When you bring that to the table, other people see, oh, this is something worth getting excited about. Because, and maybe not everyone's going to be excited about every little piece, but you don't know which piece someone's going to take and run with, you know? But people like, and this reminded me of something that Janelle said way back, when she was talking about the incentives. She said, no, she was talking, not the incentives. She was talking, well, kind of. It was one of the discounts, the SAM 2020 way back when. And she's like, this sale is not for your people. This sale gets you excited and gets you moving your butt. And because people are probably going to pay for it with or without the sale, but because you think that they're going to be excited about the sale, you start going nuts. But they would have bought from you even if there wasn't a sale, if you would have brought that same enthusiasm.
This is just it. Okay, the skylight calendar, you guys. So I am so excited about the skylight calendar. So excited about it, right? And I just think about that same thing. It's not about the stupid calendar. Like, yes, would Plexus like you to be organized? Yeah, that's probably one of their values. They love to help you be organized. It's a tool, like it's a gift. They're trying to get you excited about something that's shiny and small here, so you will run for this. Because this isn't going to pay you next month. The calendar, it's one calendar. You get one, unless like you have a couple accounts. Like it's one like shiny bauble. The shiny baubles are just for like the flash in the pan, like, ooh, I could earn this. And then 6 months later, when your people are still ordering, are you calculating how much money that actually was? That little sparkly bauble just made you how much money? Like,
Right.
how bonkers is it? Like, absolutely bonkers that they're incentivizing us to grow our businesses to make us more money.
Right.
Like,
When we get excited, we get more creative. And that's the most important thing right there, is how do we show up with excitement even when there isn't something that maybe people would be considered shiny. Like, for example, like, let's be honest, pickleball. I was like, not super, there was a lot of people like, and they pulled back a little bit, and it's just like, wait a second, wait a second. Like, we need to show up with enthusiasm regardless of what the incentive is. But the incentive does get you feeling a little bit, okay, like, how am I going to do this? But, yeah, the thing that I always love to think of is, if these incentives never existed, what would drive me? And it's got to be the bigger vision of what you're going for, and you need to really come down to that place. Okay, we haven't got very far, but we're gonna get through this. So that's where okay, so number 1, how to get people to view you as a leader from the start. Approach people with faith, enthusiasm, and action. We just talked about that a lot. But the belief that these supplements work, this compensation plan works, and network marketing works. If you have those 3 things nailed down with someone who you're trying to recruit as like an ambassador, for example, like, they are going to be way more, they're going to stick a whole lot more than if you're like, hey, want to make $400? They're like, oh, cool, maybe not, and then when things get hard, they're like, yeah, this isn't fun anymore, so goodbye. But these things will help quite a bit. So there's nothing worse than chasing people down and telling them that you need them to sign up. Whoa, I think we all know that. I have never personally been a fan of, like, and maybe you guys can disagree with me, but I personally, it gives me the ick when someone's going for a big goal and they're like, I'm going for a big goal, please, I need all my whatever. Like, personally, that's when I don't know. That's myself. Maybe that's a personal growth I need to work on. But I have never felt compelled to move when someone says that. But I always try to, like, even if I have a really big goal, I want to make sure that I am focused on the goals of the people that I'm working with, whether it's a customer or a ambassador who wants to scale their business. I try to keep them focused on their goals, and they get a lot more excited about their own goals for themselves more than they, would about me. And I don't want them to ever feel used by me as well. So,
I think Amy wanted to add something to that. She had a hand. I wasn't sure if you were reading notes or if you could see your screen, so I thought I'd just interject.
Yeah, sorry, I can't see anything when I'm looking at my notes.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, okay, time out. Amy has a thought.
Slide me down.
I do, because it's really fascinating. Because, Chelsea, I know exactly what you're saying. And I've been in both sides of that
Right.
because fascinatingly enough, people want to help you, people want to help each other. So you're
Right.
totally right on, I need to help my people focus on their goals. But when you authentically, respectfully say, I've been working, you know, I've been working, I'm getting
Mhm.
actually really close to this goal. How are you doing on yours? Is there something I can help you on yours? Are you willing to
Right.
step out of your comfort zone and talk to one more person? Because if you reach your goal, I will reach my goal. They are motivated because you authentically stepped out of
Right.
your comfort zone and said, I need help. And people
Right.
want to help people who need help. And again, one of those people, Janelle was going for a really big goal and the energy was going and flowing. Well, you know what? I can get really brave and know that me talking to one more person, because I'm down her line at little ways, but it still helps.
Yeah.
When my mom, who's not here so I can talk about her, was going for a really big goal, I could talk to the three people who were working towards their own goals and say, she's really close. Who do we need to talk to help her get over the goal?
Mhm.
I'm not going to reach whatever goal that was, but we can help her get over hers.
Right.
And I had one person who totally blew my mind on how many people that she talked to that month. She invested in how close is she and what do we need to do today? And
Yeah.
I love that. And I think it does depend on how you word it and how you present it. Because
yes,
there have been times when I've been thrown into like rank up chats and the excitement in there is amazing. I love it. And I love those things so much, you know, because I'm like, okay, what I do helps this person. And I feel like it does depend on how you put it forth. I think personally I have there have been times when I have and maybe this was like a personal issue. Oops, that was my phone. There have been times I felt when I did feel used and it was difficult thing to work through, but it wasn't usually in those like yeah. Anyways, that's a personal thing. We don't need to
but
bring that
but
into here.
but I totally understand that because the other piece is I watched another friend in another company say, "Oh, I'm reaching for a really big goal. I need some help." I actually messaged her and said, "Hey, like, how close are you? And if you're really close, what do you need me to buy?"
Right.
Flat out, I am not buying because I need your product. I'm not buying because I'm interested, but I will help you get over your goal. And she was honest back and she said, actually, I'm really long ways away. I said, okay, if on the last day you get really close, message me.
I love that. I love that you would do that because you have a different understanding of it. Totally. And I I think, sorry, go ahead.
It was just my confidence at that time had
Mhm.
shifted enough to,
Mm.
like you said, I understood that her business really is on sales volume.
Mhm.
Like buying a mascara, buying a whatever it was,
Yeah.
might put her over. Buying $1,000 case probably would have put her over, but I ain't going there.
Yeah. We're not that invested, right?
Yeah. But I wanted to let her know that I was still willing to support her
Mhm.
if she was within reach.
Yeah.
And, you know, like it's like saying, hey, I'm going for Emerald, please buy from me. Well, how close are you from Emerald? Oh, well, you know, I'm 10% there.
And you know what?
Oh,
It totally goes to like, there are the people that are like, it doesn't really matter. I'm just gonna push my order out to the first. Well, maybe like, cause maybe
Right,
they
yeah.
did think that, oh, I could order if it doesn't matter to anybody, then it doesn't, but I've had people message me, and this is the fun part about community. I've had
Mhm.
people message me when I've been like, I think it was we were going for Emerald, or you know, Sherry was ranking, or like whoever was ranking. I've had people messaging me from other teams, and they're like, so if I order, does that help? No. No, it doesn't, but that's so nice of you. Thank you so much. Or people who had already ordered 100 PB. So if I ordered a little more, does it help this person? Like, and they don't even know who they are, right? And you're just like, wow. So the community is flowing, right? Like it's translating down, and they're invested in it, which I think is just such a beautiful thing. I think the other part too is, and you're right, Chelsea, it is in the positioning of how we do it. I think when we allow ourselves to be, I'll just say it this way, to be kind of naked in front of our people as we're growing in our leadership, and be like, I am a human. Like, I'm a human, and this is what this looks like for me right now. And I know for me as a leader, it always challenges me, because I want the people on my team to understand that everyone has struggles regardless of where we're at in our businesses. Everyone has struggles. So I never want people to reach a point where they're like, well, so-and-so never struggled. Okay, sorry. Small story. That's totally like on point. When I was small, like 3 or 4, and learning how to skate, I kept falling down, and I was crying, and my mom was like, it didn't hurt you. What is wrong with you? And I said, but Mom, Wayne Gretzky never falls down. Well, okay, I never watched hockey, but I don't know how I knew who Wayne Gretzky was. But my thought was, Wayne Gretzky never falls down. And so I wasn't doing it right. And so I keep that in my mind, and I bring that out to say, I need people to know that when you're an emerald, you have problems. There are things that happen at gold that are totally acceptable. There are things that happen at silver that are totally acceptable. And you are not like, you're not the crooked carrot in the bucket of straight ones. Like it's not, you're not weird. But if we don't talk about it, and we aren't transparent with our challenges, then people hit those things. You're like, well, obviously I am not meant to do this. No, sorry, you're just human, and none of us are, we are doing you a disservice by not talking about it. Anyway.
Right. That's very interesting. It could be a personal preference. It could be something that I just have seen it not done well a lot of times, maybe in my personal experience, but there have been times where I see it was done really well. But anyways, where are we now? Present like oh, I found it interesting when he talks about, I'm on part number 2, when it says present a once in a lifetime opportunity, and he uses the term ground floor. And I just feel like if someone is not already in the network marketing space, they don't know what you're talking about. And so I was thinking, I'm like, how can we brainstorm about a different something that would be better to say than ground floor?
Chelsea,
Chelsea,
that's so funny, because when I heard that piece too, I'm like, did we just fall into the pyramid scheme talk? Because when I hear ground floor breaking, I'm like, this does not sound like it's going to last a long time. This sounds short term, which I'm like, I am in a book where this guy obviously did amazing, wonderful things, and this worked. Why do I suddenly feel like we just fell off the network marketing train and hopped on the scam train?
right.
So interesting, because Brooke Hemingway, I don't know if you guys were following her stories this week. She was showing what it looked like to walk into her diamond suite, right? And diamond destination. And she was like, this is not a startup company. We are debt free. We have been here. We are industry leaders. To me, that, like, we are industry leaders. We are the founders of Gut Health. We are the original, like, science-backed, did I say debt-free, philanthropic, like, to me, those are people. Now, I know people who've used that, like, we are ground floor still, meaning that I think what they're trying to say is, like, the market isn't flooded. But I think you're right, Chelsea. I think if we say something like, there is so much room for growth.
Yes, because we're sitting at, like, we're only in a few countries. There is an entire world, okay? And even though the markets are not yet open in all of this, we I did like what he said later, where he says we are expanding into a new country and looking for partners. I loved that wording. And I thought of that is a great way to reach out with a business opportunity for someone who's in a different country, like for example, Australia or New Zealand, Mexico. But there are literally so many people who don't know about Plexus. Like, so many people. And you just have to get yourself in the right place, and any place that can be a quote unquote ground floor opportunity in a sense, because like I went up to the paw, like nobody knows about it up there. So Jackie, when she is like going crazy, sharing with everybody, no one has heard of it. And there's like maybe two people there, myself and another lady who doesn't seem to be really working the business, who takes it that we know of. And it's like, this is a massive opportunity. So this is what I shared with Jackie. Basically, I was like, you have an opportunity to be like Eva if you want to be, because she's way up north in Alberta and she made this work and she started at nothing. And even though you have a lot of helpful resources and you're not starting from nothing, where you're going, no one knows anything. Nobody has any naysay about it. Nobody has any yay say about it. And you don't have a ton of other people that working where you are. And so you have an exceptional opportunity here to really take this far. And so I don't know how I would say that in less words.
I think you would just say, like, I threw it in the chat there, but like there are so many untapped markets still available in.
Wow, I like that.
And I threw one of Andrew's quotes in, and he said this like 7 years ago. So it's way more now. But if only 1% of the city of Edmonton were on Plexus, we would have over 10 separate diamond teams. We're not talking like
right.
completely on their own, right? And
Exactly.
I think about cultural groups too, right?
Yeah.
That's a huge thing because they have different types of community. The other piece to that as well is that we sell product that people stay on. When you get people started with 4 products, the likelihood that they will stay on the product is so high that we don't even have data for it because it exceeded their study. So we are not flash in the pan products of, hey, why don't you hop on this, what my son called purple magic. You guys remember Herbal Magic? He was like 4 and heard it in the car and he was like, what's purple magic? I'm like, no, it's Herbal Magic, but we're not going to do that. It's not purple magic where you're going to get on the pill for 2 months and be done, right? This is something that is life-changing, that people stay on long-term, and it's quantifiable. It's not like I would buy a new cup every month, but shh, don't tell. Would you like to buy a cup from me? I'm sorry, those hands up, how many people have done like product to hand sales in network marketing before? Jimmy has, I have, Janelle has, Chelsea's going, yes, I have. Can we just take a minute and go, Can you imagine packing up all your stuff in Rubbermaid tubs again and going to somebody's house and setting it out like 3 times a week and filling out order forms and doing the things and then here's the kicker, you guys. This is where they totally hosed us. Sorry. They totally did. You got to do it again the next month if you want to make a paycheck. Are you
Right.
kidding me right now? Do you know how many tea lights I would have to sell for that? Not gonna happen. No.
And that's
You
where
have
I
no-
that's where I come at this and I'm like, this is why if someone has if they really can catch the vision from the
Oh.
compensation plan, the way that it's structured and the way network marketing works, like there's a lot of people who come into this with the mindset of someone who is an affiliate,
Mhm.
and that is a problem.
Yo, can I tell you
Because
something?
if you
I don't want
wanted
to
to
work that
only
hard.
sell, and if you wanted to only sell to customers and you never wanted to build a team, why are you here? I mean, it's great, but why?
I actually saw a company that was advertising this last week where you have the option to be an affiliate or an ambassador. And I was
Mhm.
like, I don't want to work that hard. Why would I do that? Like and
Some people don't like
I love,
MLM, so they're probably just trying to. And I'm like, why don't you like MLM? If you understood the structure, you would love it.
I love sales. You guys, I love sales. Janelle and I like speak the same language. I love selling things to people. You get me on a good day going shopping, I will voluntarily walk into a store, into a change room and help people and sell them clothes. And I don't get paid for it because I like solving problems for people with purchases. It lights something up in me that is completely weird. I love working Christmas. I love retail. I just don't want to work that hard. It's not fun long term, right? When I have to go back and sell like more of those things over and over and over again. No wonder people don't like network marketing. How many lipsticks do you have to sell to pay your mortgage? Like, if that is your jam, cool, is not mine.
Right.
Sorry,
Like,
rant over.
and that's what I'm talking. I think a lot of the reasons why people don't like network marketing is because they treat it like an affiliate marketing. And they're like, I tried so hard, and I talked to this many people, and it's like, okay, but how many times did you present the opportunity? And are you following up with people about the opportunity? Like, just, you got to think long term, and so when I started to realize, oh, if I treat this like an affiliate marketing, I'm literally working way too hard. I'm literally working way too hard. But if I view this as like, this is literally network marketing, this is an MLM, let's do it MLM. Let's take advantage of the structure of this company and the structure of this kind of business with the compensation plan. Oh, Plexus makes it so simple, which I really appreciate. Is it easy? Obviously, no. But is it simple? Yes. And I'm really thankful for that. But basically, if you're a leader who creates leaders who have the mindset of creating leaders, this is going to be a whole lot easier than if you're like, okay, you get customers and then hopefully this person will like want to sell and then they can get customers. It's like if you have the leadership mindset, you're going to have more people moving through your funnel in a different way because you're looking for leaders. And so if you're looking for a leader and someone ends up a customer, it's not the end of the world. But if you're looking for leaders and you get more leaders out of it because you were asking to find more leaders, then you're going to find more growth than if you are only looking for customers and hoping that one day they'll want to jump on your bandwagon. Does that make sense? Yeah.
I
We're
think that
not-
comes down to how he shares the opportunity first, right? And that kind of leads into the next part, Chelsea. I don't know if you wanted to go there, but position yourself as the one in charge and looking for people who want to build with you rather than just sharing the products. And that process starts with your first contact with them. It's not, oh, get them to sign up and then share about the leadership opportunity, the business opportunity.
Or I've been consistently sharing about the business, the more people have actually been asking me the business. People think it's crazy. And also, you know, showing success of other people. And this is the one thing that I had to do before I had people ranking, before I had people really doing anything. I was like, I'm going to have to borrow someone else's stuff. And I wasn't saying that it was mine, but I wasn't saying it wasn't, but it was like, I'd be like, this person just ranked up, woohoo! We're on the same team, but they're not under me, but woohoo! But it gave the impression that people are being successful at this. And I can be successful at this too. Even though they weren't my people who were ranking up and earning all the whatever, people were saying, oh, people are actually, because you are the only, unless they know like 3 or 4 people who do sell Plexus, you are the only window they have into how successful this is. And if they don't see, even if they don't continually see, you know, people's testimonies of the products, people's testimonies of the business, if they don't continually see those things, they're gonna just be like, man, I don't know when this girl's gonna give up, because they don't know what gold or senior gold or ruby or diamond even means. They don't know that. You know, they don't know how much that is a month, and they honestly don't care. But when you're showing that, oh, I help people and people are getting results, and this is on a consistent monthly basis, they see the social proof of it and they're like, oh, so like it does work. And you're like, well, yeah, wouldn't be here like 5 years in. Even, you know, but yeah, they just think maybe they're just really stubborn and just trying to beat a dead horse till it works, you know. You don't know. So you gotta show them.
I was just gonna say, I think that it really, truly, when it comes down to it, it starts with how we feel about ourselves. And how we feel about ourselves is what we're gonna project, right? And so I even, Janelle and I, we did a live yesterday talking about the business. And I went back and was critiquing myself a little bit. I was like, I could have been a little bit more excited from the get-go. I don't know why. Sometimes I'm like, woo, you know, and that's maybe a little too much. And then sometimes I'm like, hey, everybody. And I'm like, oh, right? Like trying to figure out how to match, right? But here's the thing is that it's true. They're looking only as they're going through their feed. Okay. Like you guys, people, listen, here's the thing. I don't know how many times that I've reached out to somebody or somebody's reached out to me and they get like 2% of what I've been sharing. Like 2%, maybe if you're lucky, 1%. And so we're like, we think we look over our stories and we're like, oh, hopefully they got what. No, people aren't. Like, if you think that everybody knows that you're doing Plexus or that everybody knows what the pink drink is, false.
Yeah.
Don't. Because as soon as I get into conversations with people, they're like, oh, like, you mean it does this? Oh, I didn't know that. I thought it was just like I thought it was just for weight loss. That was conversation this week. Oh, I thought it was just for weight loss. I saw somebody post on social media on Instagram and I thought it was just that. So if we think for a second that we have spoke the message too many times, false. And so when it
Right.
comes to even sharing about the business, like I'm, like, okay, I've done the product, now I'll share business. And and I think, oh, everybody's seeing this. They haven't. So if you haven't posted, even if you go into Grow, and even if you take the copy and paste the people last month that added one person, nobody knows if you can just say, hey, look at the team and how look at how many people have jumped on this month. Wow. Like, or even saying, man, my team has doubled this month. Maybe you only have one more person that has signed on this month. Like, it's doubled.
So
Like, sorry.
I agree. I want to give also, totally agree with what you said. As well, I'm sitting at a football game last night and I sat down in front of a girl that I went to high school with. We have not seen each other in a bajillion years, but she's actually one of my customers because she was watching and she has been, taking the pink drink, orders pink drink every month for sure, and then orders active every now and again. Sit down. She's like, I placed my order. I didn't ask her anything. She's like, I placed my order so that it would be here before we go to Disneyland. Great. She's a friend beside her. She's like, Janelle, she does this plexus thing. Like, what do you even say with what you do? And so she opens the door and I'm like, yeah, I partner with a supplement company. I'm a brand ambassador for them and I have been for 10 years. And Carrie's like, yeah, she's super successful. She goes on trips all the time, but there's this drink and she got, I don't ever want to do the business. I don't ever want to share. She just filled in like a bajillion things that she's been watching me do, the team do, that this stuff is amazing. I've probably lost 20 pounds over the last 2 years because I've been walking and I've been taking my slim hunger control and I really love it. And, oh yeah, I ordered from the States and it did it. And I was like, Carrie, do you not understand that like what I do is exactly what you are doing right now? Like, you didn't want to do the business and yet here you are businessing like all over the place, right? People there are some people who aren't watching and have no clue. There are people who are watching and are catching everything that you say. And it's incredible. So be encouraged
there are
both ways.
people,
Assume they don't know, but there's a lot of them that do.
It is actually shocking the amount of times that both that I'm like, man, how do people know now?
Hilarious. She
people
thought that she'd met my husband before. She thought she'd met my husband before. Nolan is now Insta famous. She never met him. I'm like, it just happened to you. Sorry, I had a moment. I thought it was super funny.
That is so funny. There have been times when, like, I've actually had some people, they're like, you're like Facebook famous, right? I'm like, people just don't really have a grid for, they just see your stuff all the time and they follow you like you're famous. But I'm like, I have 1,000 followers on Instagram. On Facebook, I have like 2.5 thousand. Like, that's actually not famous, but okay. But there's people who, it is surprising how much they follow along. And I remember I was hanging out with a friend after I posted into my stories that we went to a thrift store and I took a picture of the things we got in our cart or whatever. And then later that day, that friend was like, says to my daughter, so you got some rubber boots that had llamas on them. And I'm like, you were really paying attention. Like, you were literally zooming what was in my cart. Like, I would have clicked through that, like, oh, whatever. But like, some people are really watching. So, it is surprising, but it's still, yeah. Anyways, we
And I think
don't
if
got
you
that much time
stopped,
left.
Chelsea, I think
Pardon?
if you stopped sharing, they would miss you. Right? Like,
They would miss
It
you, but also there
would-
have been times where they have literally said, "Oh, Kelsey's not posting. I wonder what's going on."
Did somebody kidnap her? This is social proof,
Right.
is like, if I get kidnapped, people will look for me
Yes.
because they know I'm missing.
I
Right.
had a friend who texted me when I was gone camping. Well, Leona texted me. She's like, Jimmy, where are you? Like I haven't seen you on social media. I'm like, I know, I don't have any access to the interweb. She's like, oh, okay. I just wanted to make sure you're okay. I'm like, I know. I'm like, yeah, yep. And it's okay to sometimes, I don't know if you guys know this, we're totally getting off, but if you give, I think it's 24 hours of a lapse of not putting anything in the stories, when you go to post again, it just zoop, like there's like it's like the algorithms get fixed or something happens, and now 500 people just saw you post. So sometimes it's okay to give a bit of a, okay, maybe I'll give it a little time, right? Especially if you've got something big you really want to slam for everybody to see. So maybe like, I've got, this is it. I'm doing one-on-one coaching, blah, 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 blah. Get started today. I've got a deal, blah, 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 right? Something to that point that you want everybody in your feed to see, right? I have a question I want to ask people.
Go for it.
The question is who is going to use this application for the next person that says, yeah, I want to do this business?
I'm thinking about it. I was thinking of what, we could, tweak it a bit here and there, but I'm like, this would be a really good thing to have normalized. And the reason why I think it would be good is because I have noticed that Eva, for some of the things that she does, like for some trainings that she's offered or different things that she's talked about, she has made, you have to do this application, you have to do this application, and it raises the bar. And you immediately think, oh, I've got to put my best foot forward. This isn't some, freebie masterclass taking, even though it is free. You're thinking, whoa, I've got to really show up. That's how I've personally taken it when there's been an application process, like, oh, I want to be accepted. Okay, I want to make sure I really do this well. And then I actually do the work.
And it also helps you to get to know what their goals are, right? Like initially gets a feeling of who they are, what are they looking for, which allows you to know then how am I going to work with them.
Yeah.
I feel like if there's already an application process, like that already, like I said, raises the bar right away for, this is how I present myself as a leader. I take this seriously. This isn't whatever, but it also shows people, I can also tell people, okay, you can just use what I have. You don't have to come up with your own process. You can just use this. This is the process in which we do it. And this is how you can get people to communicate their commitment out the gate. And this will not only help you to have more retention in leaders, but also help them to have more retention in leaders.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to kind of mesh what he's brought as well as what the Christina Williams one was as well. I feel like that goes a little bit more into depth. But I loved. Again, I would tweak a few words here or there, but I liked it, and I liked the follow-up stuff as well. And I felt video calls are so important, but I remember seeing a noticeable shift when I started, how he talks about the training. We got new training, whatever. I personally treat the 21-day challenges as like as like an on-ramping thing that not only I can do to get new people, but also to maintain previous people who have been ordering for a while, but also as a template for my people going forward, being like, oh, this is what we do. This is easy to invite people to. And this is where we keep going with that. But I found specifically in the halfway mark in the 21-day challenges, I set up a video call with each person. And am I glitching?
No, I just have a request because I'm loving this and I want it in Grow Leader Lounge. I want you to talk to us about your 21-day
I've
challenge.
put this in Grow before so many times.
I know, but now you've been doing it for however long and you've learned new things and you've probably
Right.
streamlined it along the way. And you could probably also give us like, here are the results that I've been finding. Like, it's just like
Right.
doing a study that's like a 2-week long study. And you studying something for 2 weeks and you have 2 weeks of knowledge. And now you've been doing this for however long, you actually have a different depth of understanding and knowledge of what this does.
Right.
So we need
Yeah.
September 2024 Chelsea's brain on the 20
Okay.
challenge.
All right, let's do it. I have found it's been so helpful because I have, leaders who are inviting their own people, and it is exciting because when they see, because on the front end, they might be like, oh, 21-day challenge. Wow, what does it even look like? When they walk through it and see how like literally simple it is, they're like, oh, I can do this. I can do this. And it's just something that it has to be sustainable, even for myself. I'm like, I've got to make this sustainable long term.
Chelsea, you make it really simple. You do. Like I've been
Thank
following
you.
along with Chelsea, and I think in the past, I've made it complicated. And I think we have to make it simple so people think it's duplicatable. And I like your simplicity.
Thank you.
It's really good.
Part of that is just because I can't do this month after month with so much intricate things in there. I can't. It's not duplicatable, but it's also not sustainable for me.
No.
Being as when I asked the Lord, I was like, what is the strategy that you want to give me for this year going forward? And he said 21-day challenges. And I was like, okay, well, then it's gonna I have to be able to do this every day. I mean, for the 21 days of every month.
And that has been my stopper, because I'm like, I have a tough time keeping up what I was doing for 21 days, like information every day and this and that. And it's hard to keep that up every month. But when I started watching what you do, I'm like, oh, I can do this. And I could do this every month. So I'm going to do the GLP-1 challenge for next month. And then I think I'm going to add on the following month, the liver detox. So kind of progress from just GLP-1 to then going, let's add on another level of detox and add in the liver detox. And it's totally possible.
And people, like some people, this is not their thing. That's fine. They can take this stuff outside of the group. Great. Some people love being able to do this with others. Like there's been and I've loved to see how some of my leaders have showed up in the chat as well. Like Mel was like, like, let's have a little bit more interaction in here, like this is my share a photo of you and your pink drink today. And like, I didn't tell her to do that at all. And then people are sharing their pink drink, and then she's like, how is everyone doing? And everyone was sharing in there. And I'm just like, look at this. Like, oh, thank you, Jesus. So that's definitely one of the things. Oh, go ahead, Janelle.
I was just going to say, I think one of the things that this offers, if you feel like you're stuck, if you've been stuck in what you're offering to people, this is a shift. It might work. It might not work for the people that you're talking to. But sometimes what we're asking is too big of a commitment for the people that are interested. They need to be
Yeah.
given the permission to try something for a set amount of time. And then they can say, yeah, no, I don't know, I'm not sure, right? So I think anyone on this screen could run one of these, and you don't have to know all of the things for it. You don't need to know. And it can be a very simple ask. Starting this challenge group, this is what you do, A, B, C. Done. Would this support you? Here are the benefits you may see in 21 days. Done.
And I found that you have to keep the calories of the conversation low. What I mean by that is I can show up really excited, but if I use too many words, if someone looks at what I see, they're like, oh, it's a paragraph. I'm not
I
reading
love how
it.
you just said that, the calories of the conversation.
Otherwise, they're like, oh, I'm full on all the content I've been taking in already. I don't have room in
Right?
my brain stomach.
That's funny.
For
Okay, I'm gonna time
this
out because
page.
we're at 4 minutes after 10, and we
Right.
could talk about the 21-day challenge. Okay. So let's move that and get Chelsea at some point, either like written out, written video, whatever, and let's move that. But here's one challenge I am gonna take this week. I am gonna work on a welcome email, because that is actually on my board of things that I'm wanting to do myself. I want to write something out. I want to have it be fresh. Guys, it could be 5 sentences. That's all. It doesn't have to be a mountain. What would you want to, if you started today, what email would be beneficial to you if you had? And I think we can take that piece away from Chelsea. Watch the word calories. Keep it simple. All right. Thank you so much, Chelsea, for leading us through this. Thanks for the conversation, ladies. Have a wonderful weekend. Bye.